Hi there, welcome to week 12 and 13 reviews of the Show Me the Money. And obviously, it's the last week this week. We'll look and see how they're getting on so far. How's it going, Craig?
Good afternoon, Johnny. Let me first apologise for last week. That was on me. It was. I don't drink very often these days, and I had a couple of beers on Saturday night, which did not go down too well on the old belly and such, So yes, my fault. But so back again. Here we go. Week 14 already. So there's a lot of teams that are already in. There's a lot of teams that are already out. But there's a lot of teams at the playoffs start this week, so it'll be interesting to see where we're landing at the moment. And there's not many teams completely dead, It's there are still quite a few alive, and the permutations at the moment for top eight is crazy. As Grotty pointed out on the chat, there is a possibility of getting 9 teams on 8 victories. That would be just crazy. It really would.
That would be mental. And one of them, who's it? Oh, no, 4 wins. But yeah, the auto drafters have done not bad considering they didn't pick their teams, but they faltered near the end. There's a flurry in the middle.
They kept themselves in there, Johnny. They kept themselves in there. But that the problem they've got now is what have they got for the playoffs now? Ross is on a 2-game losing streak, Ray's on a 4-game losing streak, and it catches up with you in the end. Is my point. You need to be on it. You need to be on it all the time. And as much as you can't win you can't win the title in the draft. You absolutely cannot. There's a lot of work to be done through the season, but you can lose it in the draft. And that's kind of what happened to Ray and Ross this year, is that they both lost it in the draft. And yes, they've stuck their oars in from time to time. They've given a few bloody noses out, to mine included. One of my 3 losses was to Ray. Let's not forget. So they have popped up as a result along the way, but if you're not at the draft, you're not going to win anything in that year. That's
No.
just the way it is.
And the draft will be the Thursday night of the football, like a kick-off season. That's it.
It will be back to Thursday night.
Back to tradition.
Night.
You know what I mean?
It's 100%.
You can set a massive queue. That's what you can do. You know what I mean? Set a bloody queue. But yeah, and that end up with 3 quarterbacks.
We're going back to our tradition. We all know when it is. So
yeah, definitely, and maybe even do it live.
Exactly, we can then do it live. That's the thing, isn't it? But yes, week 12, Johnny, let's have a look at the scores from week 12. We'll just run through the scores quickly, and then we'll head into week 13, and then we'll see where we're sitting for 14. So yeah, there you go. Top of the shop, 158 points. I believe the highest scoring points of the season this year, Johnny. Yes.
I think it is, yes. Yeah.
So far, yeah. So 158 points. The Madhouse G-Men absolutely kicking off on Sacked in the Morning. It was the end of Sacked in the Morning season. Not that it wasn't over already. And yeah, that win propelled you, Johnny. That got you up there. That got you comfortable. That was a big win for you. Then there you go. I had an off week, a rare off week, 84 points just, but I was playing the League Bunnies, so it didn't matter. And I got the win anyway. The big game of the North was the Factory of Sadness and Varsity Blues. Changed my life. The winner was going to be comfortable to get to going in, and the loser was going to have sweaty bum cheeks for the last 2 weeks. And of course, Sean's Factory of Sadness got the win over Groty's Varsity Blues, and Groty's sphincter is
very tight.
Shaking. So yeah, that's we'll see how he gets on this week, but we'll push that on to later. Then the other game in your division, and that really kind of gave you the boost to make it in with Eskimo Brothers beating Levion in a prayer, 115 points. So good score for Sean and Michael's Levion. They faltered here, but as you'll see soon, they bounce back. And then Graham done what Graham had to do, straight out of Hampton. They got the win. They didn't exactly knock it out of the park, but they got the win against Boys Are Back in Town, who could only muster 40 points. And that kept Graham in it, and it kept them going. And exact opposite for Chris and his Bluetoon Patriots. They ran into a score from Kirkwall Raiders. So Alan gave them a wee bit of a bloody nose there, and it ensured that it kept that division, the South, very, very, very tight. And then down there in the East, you've got Mark doing Mark things. You know, he got the win. It was only by 1.1 points, but it was in, and he got the win, and he keeps himself there. He keeps himself involved, and Joe bounced back to winning ways after a couple of losses. He bounced back against Farts White Eagles, and it really did put the kind of nail in Farts' coffins. Although, to be fair, I mean, we'll see in a minute, he's not actually completely dead yet. There is a way for Graham.
Yeah, it's such a close
Yeah.
workout. Do you know what I mean? So we'll go to 13 now, but yeah, this is where the cat amongst the pigeons went a bit.
Yeah, so that was week 12. That was the scores in week 12, and of course this is us. We're playing it's the divisional rounds games now. You're always playing a team in your division the last 3 weeks. So yeah, it made it. That was week 1 that we just looked at. Week 2, this is when the shapes start taking place. And why don't we just start at the top of my list, which is my game? So let's jump to my game then, Johnny. And
Wow,
I was
nice
up
score.
against Grote. Now, after Grote losing to Sean last week, this was essential that not essential because he's got Duggan the last week, but if he wanted comfort, he had to turn around it and he had to come in and he had to beat me. But I got Taylor back, and whilst he didn't knock it out of the park, he did score 12 points. Achan done his thing, made nearly 20. Devontae Adams got 2 touchdowns. He only got 58 yards, but he got 2 touchdowns. So we take them and we run away. And then CD Lamb got a touchdown, 112 yards. You know, it looked like he was worthwhile of the bye, but you can see the ominous big O next to his name. So that's freaking me out a little bit. And of course, and of course, this was Thanksgiving night, you know, and on Friday night, I had McPherson go kick for 22 points, or late Thursday night, I had McPherson go kick for 22 points. So that was a bit of a kick in the stones to Crotty before the weekend even began. So yeah, 22-0 for the Kickers was a bit of a probably where this game was won and lost. So yeah, it was a bad week again for Grote. He's lost 2 in a row now. He's traded up. He's got a great squad, Johnny. I mean, look at the squad that he's got. Mayfield should be fine. Warren's got a cold game this week, so you've got to think they're going to run the ball a lot. Judkins is looking pretty decent. Igbuka's kind of fallen off the cliff a little bit, but you've got to think the talent will shine through, and it's a great stack with me. Mayfield. Olave's going to score his points. You know, Gunnar Helm's looking better. He's got Bucky Irvin back. I mean, he's got Drake London still on the bench to come back.
He's out this week. So.
Do you know, I would not be upset if he didn't make it. I'm not going to lie, because it is a good squad, and it's one of those squads that can easily bounce out 130, 140 points in a week in the playoffs. And if he does that, then there's every chance that he could knock you out, you know. So I'd be quite happy to see Grote out. Sorry, Grote. But he got absolutely battered by me this week, so no use for him. And he's now facing a win or go home match against Doug in week 14. Speaking of whom, he came alive this week from absolutely nowhere, and this just goes to show you what can happen in fantasy NFL. You know, I mean, he was 4-8 and doing absolutely nothing, and then all of a sudden, you know, Vidal has a week, Lawrence has a decent week. He gets Christian Watson in, and you know, Watson's now back and looking like the #1 target in Green Bay, which is what the Packers desperately needed. Tet's doing better and better. Brendan Strange is back from IR. Pierce is Pierce, you know, he does Piercey things. He catches 2 catches a game, but you usually go for about 100 yards between them, you know. And the Jags D's doing them fine. So
every player scored a touchdown.
Every player, and it shows you how touchdown dependent this with it being non-PPR. You're absolutely touchdown dependent in here. And poor Sean, I mean, 99.9 points. He's effectively hit 100, and he's been battered, not knowing what's happened. Is he going to worry about it? Don't think so. He was never catching me. It does ensure that I win the division champ. Woo, woo. And it ensures that I rule the division one more year. But yeah, does he bother about that? I doubt it. He's looking at the playoffs now. And with the squad that he's got, you know, obviously Brown and Chase, he could really do with Cincinnati beating Buffalo this weekend, because if they beat Buffalo, they'll really think they've got a great shout of making the playoffs. and that means that that will enhance Chase and Brown's stock, I would say, whereas if they lose this week and it looks like they lose next week, are they really going to be out there playing? The same problem I've got with Burrow at quarterback, but anyway, it's he's got Pittman there who's going to do okay, Johnson, Walker, he's got, Tucker on the bench is a waste now that Bucky's back. He's got Jones there to pick from. Harold Fannin should have better games as the season goes on. So, yeah, Sean, an absolute danger going into the playoffs. But Doug just reminding everybody that he's about, he's here, and 5 wins now. Considering he's sold out, 5 wins is pretty decent. And he'll be looking now towards those playoffs and getting that number 1 seed. So, it's a nice boost to the confidence, being able to score 126 points and get a good win against one of the favourites for the title.
He could get Benson and Evans back next week as well, because Evans was training this week.
I hope he gets Evans back, because I think Evans is done now, so I hope he gets Evans back and he pumps him straight in.
Yeah, but who would you play him against? That's the thing. So, yeah.
Benson's one of those ones where if he was to come back, he would absolutely dominate the Arizona backfield, and you would think good things would come. But there is a big question mark on whether he is coming back or not. He seems to be this. He seems to be a myth. He's like the Loch Ness monster. Now you see him, now you don't.
I'm not up with that keen in him anyway, to be honest. But you know what I mean. But I think I've got.
It would be the fact that it would be the number 1 back there. Bam Knight, and between Bam Knight and Michael Carter, they're doing okay. Between them, they're doing fine. If he comes in and takes all of that, then he's going to fly. So. It would make I think that he's very much a playable player for Sean should he come back towards the back end of the season. But yeah, so that's the North. That was the North. Let's head into the South now. So let's go down to boys are back in town, the Bluetoon Patriots. So this was after losing last week to Allen. It was a big week this for Chris. He had to win to make sure to set up the big week 14 win for the division against straight out at Hampton. And when he did, he got there over. Again, it wasn't the best of scoring, 80 points, but it was good enough to beat. It was good enough to beat Ross. And that at the end of the day, at this stage of the season, that's all you need. You just need to beat the guy next to you. It doesn't matter how many points you score. And if you're Chris, you're very worried about How worried are you about Justin Jefferson?
Oh, definitely. It just doesn't matter who's at quarterback. They can't seem to find him.
If I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm counting my dollar bills, of course. But I feel like I'm wasting my time there at the moment. But these seasons happen, and they're trying to blend in McCarthy. It might not be the one. He might be the one. I don't know. It looks more like he won't be the one, but I can see the likes of Kyler Murray ending up there, and Justin Jefferson being just fine for next year. So it's one where it certainly gives Chris a headache over the summer to do you keep or do you not keep Justin Jefferson. But he's doing him absolutely no good right now. He'll be really needing him to bounce back against Washington this week, as I say, because he's got a huge game against Graham. But Kyron Williams is doing him well, and he'll be delighted that JMO's back and firing again. Even with Amon-Ra playing, that was a big surprise that Amon-Ra played yesterday. But even when he did, JMO still got his points. He's still done well. So, but that's a big name for Chris going into this week and winning your in. As for Ross, well, he's down at 4-9 now. He's seeded 16, officially plumb last. And Josh Allen's all that's really there, isn't it? It's Nico Collins, I guess you've got Nico there, but Xavier Worthy's letting him down. Shakir's letting him down. Gainwell's done okay in patches, but that's all you're ever going to get from Gainwell. Pacheco's let him down. Stevenson's lost the job. Yeah, and Harrison's been missing for the last couple of weeks. The team isn't awful in the grander scheme of things, but it was never going to be enough. And that's what happens when you draft 4 quarterbacks.
And the daft thing is that Allen's probably let him down the last couple of weeks as well. I know he got 18 points, but he's been playing bad.
He has been. He's been, and that's it. The weeks that it's no surprise that the weeks that Ross has won are the weeks that Josh Allen's went absolutely off on one, which he's very capable of,
Yeah.
But Yeah,
then
he's consolation chances live and die by what Josh Allen does. That's for sure. And then we've got straight out of Compton, Johnny, straight out of Compton, making sure that they're there again. 80 points, not knocking it out of the park by any manner of means once more, but enough to beat Kirkwall Raiders. He's 76, and he set the game up. That's all Graham could do at the start of the season. You know, when he was he must have been about 1-3, 1-4, something that bad. And he was never giving up on it, and people were trying to get him to sell, and he refused, and he refused, and he refused. And because he always
he was 1-5.
1-5. There you go. He was 1-5. So because he thought he had the bones or something there, he really did, and it goes to show that he actually, you know, he did. And now he's got a win in your in game. He's you know, he's done well. He's got Dart at quarterback certainly helped him out a lot. Maybe not this week so much, but he's helped him out. And Kyle Monongai coming in and getting a lot of touches in Chicago now. That's been a godsend for him. Waddle, Smith, and Odumze, you know, that's a great wide receiver room, but it's flattered to deceive at times, and that's why he is only 7-6, I would say. But you know, Kittle's back and flying. He's got Breece Hall off at Aaron, who's going to do Breece Hall what Breece Hall does. He will be the main man in New York. That's all they've got, and someone's got to carry the ball when they've got it on offense, you know. So it's he's also went to agency, and he's picked up Jordan Love. Now, I've not been funny. I warned him, Johnny. I warned him, right? And I'm warning everybody. See if we get to the playoffs, and if he makes the playoffs and he faces me, and Jordan Love goes off on a 40-game win, 40-point game, and he beats me because Jordan Love goes off in one after I've dropped Jordan Love to agency. I'm sorry. It was nice playing with y'all. I've had a great 12 years, but I'm done. I'm out. That's me. I retire officially from fantasy football because that just will not be. I won't be able to cope with that.
Yeah, but you'll have like 7 months to get over it.
No, that you need longer than months to go over that kind of pain, Johnny, honestly. So yes, anyway, Graham is looking, you know, like he set the big game up this week. We'll see that in a minute. He set the big game up. And Alan, he's just looking towards playoffs. So I think in some ways, Alan should be quite happy that Smith and Jigba had his bad game, you know, that Gadsden's had a bad game, that Higgins has had a bad game. You know, get the bad games out of the way now and save them for the playoff weeks. That's what Alan will be saying now, because he's going to be competitive in there again. You know, he has some players. He's got Debo on the bench as well, who's more than capable. You know. So yes, I would say that. Well, I mean, it's all about the playoffs now and the consolations now for Alan. He'll be playing Ross this week, so it's the absolute definition of a nothing game this weekend for Alan and for Ross. But yes, let's head on down to the east now, Johnny. Let's head into Coping Badley Jets and Farts Flying Eagles, and you know this was two teams that were sitting at 6-6. It was the winner had a great chance of making it, the loser not so much.
Jesus,
I mean, he's not completely dead yet, Graham, as we'll see in a minute. He's not completely dead, but when Mark doing Mark things, you know, his quarterback gets minus points and he still wins the game. I don't understand, Johnny. I don't understand how he does it. But anyway, yes, big week for Mark. Bejan getting a huge week with 25 points, finally being allowed to score a touchdown in Algier, not taking them all off him, which is disappointing. I've got Algier in places. Huge done okay. He got a couple of catches. Travis done what Travis does, you know, Kelsey. He's 45 yards and a touchdown. That seems to be every week these days. And it's Mark's put himself in position to make the playoffs. Graham was unfortunate. It was, Barkley's just killed him this year. Tell me, Johnny, if you're Graham and you're sitting, are you sending Barkley back to the pot this year, or are you going to keep him one more year?
The way Barkley goes, I would probably keep him because he had a good year, bad year, good year, bad year. It seems to be a trend. But
yes, it's certainly a decision to be made, though.
Is he going to keep? Are we going to? It's going to go flat.
Nobody rip it up and
keepers.
start again, I would say. I mean, it's testament to Graham's fantasy NFL ability that he's 6 and 7, and he's with 1 week to go. There is a permutation where he can make the playoffs with this team. You know, it's I mean, Hurts has been a big letdown all season. Aaron Jones has missed big chunks of it. He's getting half a point. You know, and Barkley's been such a big disappointment. Washington's had a couple of weeks. Diggs has had a couple of weeks. You know, Dowdle's been great for him. That's someone that's carried him a bit. But outside of that, I mean, you look on his bench as well. Terry's missed a lot of the season. McLaurin, Pitts has been Pitts, I guess. You know, Waller's missed a lot of the season. It's been a struggle for him, you know. But he's got there, and he's got 6 wins on the board. But 63 points ain't going to cut it, and it's just not going to cut it at all. So he got absolutely bloody nosed off Mark this week, and Mark's put himself in position to win, and he's in this week. If he wins it, he will be in the playoffs. And Graham needs to win, and he needs a lot of other people to not win.
You'd imagine McLaurin and Waller will be playing this week for him.
Yes, I would think so. I would think you'll be plugging in plugging in McLaurin, and we'll have a look at that in more detail in a minute. Yep. So then we've got the Tartan Bears and the team of the game of non-team name changes. It's Tartan Bears and Batman's Boobies. Tartan Bears is. I mean, Joe was he was on the slippery slope. Johnny, he really was. He'd lost a few in a row there, but he's bounced back in some style here with 122 points, scoring double what Ray scored on his 61.7. So. Nice scoring for Joe, which is more important than the win at this point. You know, I mean, the win got him over the line. It got him his 8th win. It made sure that he will be in the playoffs, and he's going to be a danger. You know, Mahomes has got to play it out now. You know, they're pretty much you've got to win out to get in. So it's time for Mahomes to show up this season. So that's got to be a good thing for Joe. You know, you've got James Cook there, who's been absolutely solid once more this year. Swift, as much as Monongai's getting his touches, he's not taking over completely. Swift is still there and still 19.8 points this week. You know, big week for him. AJ Brown, it seemed, you know, if Philadelphia are in a game, then AJ Brown does well, you know, but it's when they're away and when they're winning games by a country mile, that's when he does nothing. So he's got to hope that Philadelphia are in a few games and Brown should score okay again, you know. You've got Amon-Ra there who goose egged this week and no doubt be on his bench this week. But for the playoffs, Amon-Ra is going to be a great asset to his team as well. So yeah, I mean, Joe's very dangerous. He's got a lot of good players there, and he's definitely you know, he's going to be a top 4 seed. He's going to win the division, and he's going to win it on merit. So one to look out for in the playoffs. As for the Boobies, I mean, again, much like Ross, they've had their weeks. You know, they've bounced up a few weeks. They tend to have scored between 70 and 80 every week, you know, and sometimes that's enough to win. It's been enough to win 4 times for Ray here. I think he cracked 100 once, but you know, he lived and died by McCaffrey and Nakua. The thing is, he's got a good start to next year. He's got McCaffrey and Puka. That's a great start to next year. So if he actually can just rock up to the draft and be present for it and not draft everyone who's injured in the land, then we might get, you know, but it might be the year of the boobies. Alas, it's not going to be this year. And with the squad that's there, it's going to take massive weeks for Puka and CMC, and it's going to need someone like Tajay Spears or Troy Franklin, you know, to kind of chuck in to get a big week in order for them to get a win in the playoffs, you know, and get, you know, one of those top 4 spots or top 2 spots. It's going to be difficult. But it's been a ride, if nothing else, Johnny. And 4 and 9, 4's a lot more than I thought the boobies were going to get this year. And it just goes, I don't think we'll ever get a 0. I don't think we'll ever see a 0 in this league, either side. I don't think we'll ever see an unbeaten season, and I don't think we'll ever see a non-win season. I just can't see it.
No, it's pretty competitive. Even the ones that are not competitive, they're still, like you say, they'll come up with a game. And with non-PPR, there's a game you could somehow manage to win a game with 50 points.
Exactly, that's
It's
that, and it's so
crazy. You know what I mean?
touchdown dependent, and you can win with 50 points, and that's why I never think we'll see a zero. And every team's going to have a 50-point week as well. You know, your players can do brilliant and not score a touchdown, and they're not scoring well in this league. Really, it's so touchdown dependent. But I like that about it. I do like that about it. It's different, and it makes you think about who you want in your team. You know, these big touchdowns are hard to come by. You know, it's not everyone scores touchdowns in numerous occasions, so
Yeah.
it's
Unless
always a good thought process. But yeah,
it's
so
just,
Joe's in, Ray's out. And now on to your division, Johnny. And after a 158-point week, you topped 100 again. You're up against Eskimo Brothers, who were above you in the division. You got the win against them. It puts you up there at 8-5 alongside them now, and secures your playoff spot. Puts you actually into the number 2 seed, which is massive, really. That would be, well, it would mean that you avoid me to the final if nothing else. But yeah, number 2 seed now, Johnny. Big week. Drake May, Gibbs not doing so great for you, but 8.6 points is fine. Sharps stepping up, Rice, Pickens. I mean, McConkey, you're solid there, Johnny. Chubba's starting to get a few touches again. Michael Wilson, if Harrison's out for much longer, that would be very helpful for you. I mean, you're
he's
leaving
back in the team
Ferguson
this
on the
week.
bench.
So,
It's yeah, you must be getting a wee bit excited now. It's you've got a big shout.
yeah, well, see, I'm not overly happy with my team, but I'm getting the wins. That's the main thing. Like running back, I'm really slim. If I knew
Yeah, I mean,
if Hubbard was going to get more touches, I knew that I might play him. But Charbonnet gets the goal lines most of the time. So
he does. He does it, but Gibbs can very often make up for it, and I'm sure he has this week made
he
up.
has this week,
He can
yeah.
make up for a second, for your second running back being a little bit dodgy, and that's the big thing there. You have that cover, and of course you've got Drake May's doing great things. It's you want them almost want them to lose a couple just to make them play out, as opposed to start thinking about putting them in cold storage for the playoffs. But
But
that's
then Jahmyr Gibbs, that'd be why I picked Jahmyr Gibbs at the 104 or 105 when he was a rookie, because I knew he was going to be a good player.
No, I mean, he's certainly
He was
proved
always
that
going to be
he
a
worth
keeper. So
that pick, and he'll be a keeper for the next 4 or 5 years by the looks of it. But yeah, you've got Stafford there on the bench as well to cover for me this week, so that's good. But for Sean, I mean, he's 8-5 anyway. He should be in, but he is one of the ones that be kind of on the bubble at 8 wins. If it did go, if the miracle happened and the 9 teams got to 8 wins, he would be one of the ones on the bubble. But yeah, it's I mean, again, you look at the team and you think, really, how? But I mean, it's obviously going along well. Etienne's doing fine. Genty's having his weeks. Sutton's very touchdown dependent, but it's scoring them. BT's back, and you've got a whole. He looked fit on Sunday. I know he only got 3 targets, but he looked fit and he was doing a lot of blocking and stuff. So that's always a good sign. Trey McBride will do Trey McBride things, and Harrison's out again. He's managed to bag Neil, which got to be a good thing with Kamara being out. So I mean, he's got the options there. He's got Miles on the bench. He's got DJ Moore there on the bench, and Rome's out this week, so he'll plug him in, no doubt, this week. But yeah, so I mean, it's just very dependent on the Bears, on the Jaguars, and on the Las Vegas Raiders for me. But
the problem with
it's certainly going along well. And
the problem with the
Johnny,
Bears
give me a
is
wee
the run.
second. Someone's knocking on my door, Johnny. Give me a wee second. Hi, yeah, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, that's fine. No worries.
Okay, how's that? You can check that.
Oh, is that's fine. It's great.
You can check that. Is that all good? Or?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, absolutely perfect. Thanks, buddy. Cheers now. See you later. Sorry, Johnny. As the wife say, hair curlers coming for our Christmas.
Nice.
So,
Yeah,
anyway,
the thing is,
yes.
the Bears have run the ball, run. So Williams is not going to get that many touchdowns to throw because Nagonga
so.
and Smith are getting them. So.
I hope that continues to be the case as well, because they're playing us this week, so they can bring it on if they wanted, and hopefully Williams has another bad week. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult for Sean there. It's he's definitely going to make it in, but I just think he's too reliant on too many of the same not too good teams. So it's going to be a hard playoff run. But you get into the playoffs, you take your seat, and it's any given Sunday at that point. So he's every chance, and as I say, he's already secured his seat. He's in, so he's got to be happy with that. And then finally, Aaron just sticking his wee oar in and saying, "Here you go, Johnny. You get yourself up into second. I'll give Michael a wee bloody nose." And he got a win against Levion in a prayer sacked in the morning, 74.64 to 67.14. So it's I mean, Michael's there. He's 7-6. He's on the peripheral at the moment. He is the number 9 seed right now, so he's on the outside looking in. But you have to think if he can get a win this week, it should be enough to see him in. If he got the winner here against Aaron, which he was favourite to do so, and really should have done, especially with Lamar only going 3.54 for Aaron again. What a disappointment after keeping him from last year. Lamar has just been an absolute killer for Aaron this year, and it's what's cost him massively. So, but yeah, Michael's winning you're in is the thing. If he wins, he'll be in, but it's a different way for him. He's usually, obviously, as we know, that he's usually up the top being the number 1 seed. He's not this year. He's down the bottom fighting for the number 8 seed. Maybe that'll help him out in the playoffs, because it's never been much lucky from number 1 seed. But he'll need a lot from Williams. He'll need a lot from Bowers. He'll need Flowers to not score negative points. That's just disastrous, And he'll need Algier to keep getting those touches off Bejan on the goal line. But for Aaron, he's heading into the consolations now, and to be fair, with the squad that he's got, he did sell away Hall and such, but with the squad that's there now, Hunter's on IR, he's not coming back. If he can get 1-1 in the consolations, and if he can get that 1-1 in the consolations and get a top 4 pick, I think he'll have done well. But he's got
to get because of his defense.
This week is obviously is a nothing game for Aaron, but it's an absolutely huge game for Michael. I can't even remember who he's playing, but huge game for Michael. But yeah, let's go and have a look at the divisions now, Johnny. So up here in the north, obviously 10-3. I not only have I guaranteed the North title, but I've also guaranteed the number 1 seed. I will have the best record and show me the money the year after winning it. Thank you very much. Factory of Sadness sitting there at 8-5, and with 1,200 points, no one's catching that. No one can catch them and pass their points for. So Sean is in the playoffs. Congratulations, Sean. It's Factory of Sadness. First, the Blues changed my life. I've got an absolutely massive game this week. They need to win to ensure their place. Now there is a scenario where they can lose and still be in. But yes, has to beat Dugs and Backs to be Trust, who are languishing there at the bottom and at 5-4. But if Grote wins, he will be in. Then we go down into the south, and it's straight out of Hampton and Bluetown Patriots, 7-6 at the top. Both 7-6 play each other this week. Winner will be in. Loser, if Graham loses, he's got a better shout than if Chris loses, obviously, because Graham's got better points for. So it certainly work more in his favour. But I would be good into that game if I was in it, and got to win to be in. And if I lose, I'm out. That would be my thought process. Although if they do lose, they can still make it. Kirkpaul Raiders there at 4-9, and boys are back in town at 4-9. Nothing but the consolations to look forward to for them. Then into the east, we've got Tartan Bears up there at the top, 8-5, guaranteed playoffs with 1,229 points. There's no way that points total's been passed by the ones on 7-6. Coping Badly Jets. Mark's big issue is his points for. He's only number 10 seed at the moment. His points for is a problem. He will absolutely need to get to the 8th win. If he's got any chance of getting in, he must win this week. And Graham there at First Flying Eagles at 6-7, the only 6-7 team in the league. And
Mental.
at 1,145 points. It's not bad. So if he does win and others lose, there is a scenario where Graham could make the playoffs. And then you've got Batman's boobies down there at the bottom, not even cracked the 1,000-point mark yet, and 4 and 9. It will be all about consolations for Ray. Then into the West, and again, this is a tight one where you've got yourself, Johnny, up there at the top, Man's House G-Men's 8 and 5, 1,300 points, so more than clear. You've got Eskimo Brothers there at 1,193. Again, that's more than enough points to ensure that Sean will be participating in the playoffs with his 8 and 5 record. And then you've got Michael there at 7 and 6. And he's only got 1,060 points, and that's why he's holding the 9th seed. So he must win in order to make it in. And the only way he could, now he could get in if he lost, right? But here's the thing: in order for him to get in and lose, then he would need Chris's Bluetoon Patriots to lose and him to outscore Chris by 15 points, and then he would get in losing. So yes, I think it's winning you're in for Michael. And then Sacked in the morning down there at the bottom. Nice wee win last week, and he's just he can stick a wee bloody nose on someone on the way to the playoffs, maybe, because it's not Michael he's playing this week. I know
The
that.
Tesco brothers. It'll be Sean.
So so into week 4. So that's all to play for in a lot of places, Johnny. There's a lot of people just waiting on the playoffs now, but there's some massive games. I'm playing Sean, so that's a nothing game in the north. It doesn't matter. I mean, it might matter to Sean's seeding, I guess, but I don't think he cares about that. So yeah, nothing game, and then Backs We Trust will play Varsity Blues Changed My Life. Massive game, so let's go and take a wee look at what Grote's doing. So it's a game where Grote must win to get in. You know, he's got Baker in, he's starting Bucky, he's starting Judkins. No, the game's not started yet. You know, neither of them had a player on Thursday, so that's good news for both of them. You know, good news for a Sunday run. Ibuka's playing, Olave's got playing, Helmy's got playing, Warren. Yeah, I mean, the squad in itself. And there's nobody there on his bench that you would think, no, why are you not playing him, you know?
Yeah. Same the other side.
So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely starting the right team as Grote. He's doing all he can. He's a 71% favourite. So, but yeah, I mean, Doug's team went off last week, didn't they? And let's just have a wee run down this. I'm checking for some collusion here because Mr. Baxter's already hung his allegiance onto Grote's flag. So let me just make sure he's not doing anything untoward. No, he's not. Pollard on the bench is fair enough. Although chucking in Jaden Reed for his first game back's a little bit bold over Pollard. I'm not sure I would be playing that card, but other than that, there's nothing else Dougie can do. He's got his best team in there. So yeah, that's a big game for Grote. It's a must win as well. And then if we go down to the games in the south now, where well, I mean, we don't even need to look at Boys Are Back in Town and Kirkwall Raiders. That's a nothing game. But let's go take a look at the big one, Johnny. This is a big game of Show Me the Money in week 14 this year. It's Bluetoon Patriots again, straight out of Hampton. Both 7 and 6. Winner makes the playoffs. Loser, there's every chance you don't. So and obviously tops the division. So huge game. Graham's the 63% favourite, but Chris has got the points on the board, and I'm very much an advocate of getting the points on the board. And in this league, 10 points for your wide receiver isn't terrible, especially when they never caught a touchdown, you know. So Jamo Williams, 10.3 points. It's a par. I would say it's par. It's up against Devontae Smith. I mean, Devontae Smith will beat that half the time and be lose to that half the time. So it's well on. And Jared Goff obviously getting 17.6 points. Graham starting his shiny new quarterback. Jordan Love makes his straight out of Hampton debut in the cold, in the freezing cold in Green Bay.
It's so, snowing,
I'm surprised. Oh, that's on by. That's why.
The problem is if you look at like we've got Monongai against Green Bay run defense. You've got Jacobs against Chicago run defense. What the Jets defense have been a bit sneaky the last couple of weeks, and you've got the Chargers defense with Smith. You don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, there's a lot.
This is
Graham's
going to
got a
be
lot of
very
hard
close.
games there.
Yeah.
You know, Devontae Smith against the Chargers defense is a hard one as well. Ingram against the Raiders defense, which has been very good against tight ends. You know, yeah, I mean, he's got some tough games there. Whereas, you know, Chris has got Kyron Williams going up against the Arizona defense. You got to fancy Williams to do pretty well there. And if Jefferson's ever going to bounce back, it's going to, you know, the Washington defense has been awful to wide receivers this year. So it's a great chance for Jefferson to bounce back, you know, and obviously JJ McCarthy's coming back in. And it's McCarthy now has to prove it. You know, he's got 5 games to prove it. You see if they lose the last 5 games and end up with one of the top kind of 3 or 4 picks in the draft, they might just go after another quarterback and say thanks, but no thanks, JJ. So he has to prove himself over the next few games. And do you know how to do that? Throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. It's not that difficult, pal. See the big dude down there that catches everything. Throw it in that direction, and you might just do okay. So,
well,
you know,
that's a bad thing because he'll catch everything, but he can't with those quarterbacks.
I'm not giving up on Justin Jefferson yet because I do think that McCarthy's got enough to get the ball to him, and I do think that he has to show it that these last 5 games. So I'm not giving up on him just yet. But yeah, this is a huge game and massive game. So we'll see how it goes. Chris has got the points on the board. I always like getting points on the board, but Graham can look at it and say, well, he's not knocked out of the park. He's also not underscored, but he's not knocked out of the park. He's par.
Definitely. What one do you want to go
so
next?
then into the east and that into the east now, and we've got who's Mark playing? So Mark's playing team there nights. Mark's playing Tartan Bears, Copen Badley Jets and Tartan Bears. It's Tartan Bears doesn't matter. They're in, you know. And they can't. Copen Badley Jets can't beat them for the title at the division either because their points are so far behind them. So yeah, it's a nothing game for Joe and his Tartan Bears. But you always like to win your divisional games and make sure just rub their noses in it, you know. So it's but huge week for Mark. He's absolutely winner. You've got no chance. And Copenhagen and Mark is one of the ones who could win and still not make it. If everyone gets to 8, Mark would be the one who loses out because he's got the lowest points. So if there was 9 teams to get to 8, it would be Mark that lost out. But in order for that to happen, he needs to get to 8 wins. He's got to win this game. He's only 44% underdog, so he's got a very good chance. You know, he's got a good chance there. The Tampa Bay kicker and defense, I actually quite like that, Johnny. That's a good combination. I think they do kick a lot of field goals, and the defense is very good.
Near Knights don't have a defense.
Well, neither they do. But I mean, it's one of those ones. If he doesn't want to be dropping the Niners defense, I guess you can drop one of your kickers. Do you want to drop Butker? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it makes no difference for Joe. And he might be looking and saying, and I understand that sometimes there is sometimes you think I don't want to drop anyone on my bench. You've only got 5 spots on your bench; they could all be important to you. And if you don't want to drop anyone on your bench, and the game doesn't matter to you this week because you're already in, I completely get running without a defense and. He's still got, you know, but if he does put a defense in, obviously that would put a kibosh on Mark quite greatly. But if he doesn't, then Mark's got every chance of getting that win and moving on up there. And yeah, the other game in the division then doesn't matter, does it? It's who is it now? It's Farts Flying. Oh, it does matter. It's Farts Flying Eagles, and if he's got any chance of getting in, he must win. Graham's Farts must win against the boobies, Batman's boobies. And with CMC out, you got to think that with CMC out, it's an absolute walkover for Graham. He's 73% favourite right now, although, he can put in Wilson, I guess. So, Ray can put in Wilson for McCaffrey if he so desires. But I don't see any way for Ray to cause an upset in this week with the squads the way they are, with these 2 squads the way they are. I can see nothing but a win for Farts Flying Eagles. Will it be enough? I don't think so. But if it is enough in the get and those Eagles, Hurts and Barkley start to take off a little bit, it would be one to look out for, in the playoffs if he could get in. So be quite happy for him not to.
The fun thing is, though, is that with those two playing on Tuesday, you might know by that game if he can get
He's
in or
already
not.
won.
Yeah, he might know I need to score so many points to get in.
Maybe.
Finish. So it's quite an interesting.
Maybe.
It could be a nice fancy finish, that one.
And it could be, yeah. I mean, if he's got a chat, if he goes in, if Fats Flying Eagles are going into Monday night's game and needing like maybe 38, 40 points to make the playoffs, that would be a very exciting end to the regular season. I think that would be the most exciting end to the regular season we've ever had. But there's a long way to go to get to that. To be fair, I'm not convinced that can possibly happen. I think it'll be over for Graham. I think he's just going to come up one game too short, unfortunately for him. But yeah, so that's it, Johnny. We're heading. It's final week of the regular season.
You've still got Michael against me.
Oh, so I do. Sorry. Yes, let's go and have. And this has got big permutations as well. This one, Johnny, because obviously Michael needs the win to get in, and the number 9 seed, he'd need to score a lot of points. 1,060. So yeah, the number 8 seed's on 1,079. So 20 points. He would need to outscore by 20 points. But yeah, it's basically win or go home for Michael. And yeah, you've started with 30 points on Jameer Gibbs, so I think Michael's probably looking towards starting to look towards the consolations. But what I will say is, it's never over till it's over. It really isn't. And yes, you've got 39 points, but you've had 3 players play, and you can't be delighted with Pickens' 3.7 points, and you cannot be delighted with Jake Ferguson's 5.8 points. So whilst Gibbs has given you a great start, they've faltered, and Williams is par for Michael, so provided Herbert plays, obviously Herbert has to play because I can't see Cousins getting them there.
Well, but my team is par so far, but Gibbs being 10 points over, it's near enough par where you take that off 9 points for Pickens and 1 point for
that's it. So
Pickens,
you're par and he's par.
I'm surprised Pickens came back on the pitch after his first catch, because that landing on his left shoulder looked fucking sore.
It really did.
And he was already injured, so you can understand him not going for a dodgy catch between 2 defenders with that fucking shoulder.
Yeah, I certainly did like his response to. I loved his response to Sherman. that was brilliant. But yes,
but I put Wilson in with Bingman not playing.
You have to put Wilson in. Yeah. Wilson's guaranteed double digits this week, absolutely guaranteed. Takes the cojones to drop lad, but it's an absolute right move. It's exactly what I would do as well if I were you, Johnny. And but for Michael, he's hoping that it's the wrong move, and lad kicks on one. But he's playing his best team there as well. Schultz is up against a real tough defense for the tight ends, and Ayamanor, he's just not quite done it. He's just not quite done it. But he's really relying on Herbert playing. If Herbert plays, he's got a sniff, especially with Veli having the week that he had last week. If he can kick on from that and have another week as close to that, gives him a good shout. He's going to need Zay Flowers to do better. But yeah, winning you're in, Michael. Losing, winning you should be in. Losing is more than likely.
Well, Craig will want me to win because he doesn't want to be in his half of the draw. So we know who Craig will be.
I'm easy either way who I play, to be honest. Ideally, I'd like to avoid your team. Ideally, I'd like to avoid. I think I'd like to avoid Graham's team. I don't need that headache of Jordan Love beating me. That would be just an absolute disaster.
Well, at the moment, you'd have Graham and Sean in your half.
Yeah, I'm going to beat Sean here this week. Well, I'm going to beat it's not even started yet. But if I beat Sean this week, I like this team a lot more than Sean's. Graham's worries me a bit, but that can't. Yeah, I would absolutely take Chris in round one. That would obviously be nice for me for the squad that I've got. Plays up well against Chris's, you know. But yeah, I would like to avoiding you and avoiding Tartan Bears. That would be quite nice. And that team of Sean's, his Eskimo brothers, they can. They're capable of going off and winning a week. You know, he's had quite a few weeks at 120, 130. So yeah, nice to avoid that. But listen, this week is not about me. This week is about the teams that are fighting for it. This week is about Grote. This week is about Chris. This week is about Graham. This week is about Mark. This week is about the other Graham and his Farks, Flying Eagles, and you know, who's getting in and who's not. And I'll worry about the playoffs next week.
So well, at the moment, Grote, you're sitting in place at the moment. So get the win. Who's Grote playing?
Well, if you win, you're in. If you win, you're in. You've got more than 100 points. You've got more than 100 points on Mark. If you win, you're in.
So no need to worry.
You just got to win. So yes, we'll see who the unlucky one is next week, because as we say, there's 9 teams that can possibly get to 8 wins. Only 8 teams can get in, so there's going to be one team disappointed, and probably Graham's Farts Flying Eagles you can add to that list of disappointed teams. And there'll be 8 teams in, there'll be 8 teams out, Johnny, and the business end starts next week. That's when it gets exciting. Definitely. The back-to-back is on. The back-to-back is on, and I've lost Lamb, so that's a bit sore. But
you still got 80 points this week. So.
Yes, I mean he got fine points this week, but that doesn't help me next week. So what does help me next week?
The thing is, though, the game is on Thursday, and he's in concussion protocol, so he might be back for next week. You've got an extra couple of days. So.
I don't think they play till Monday either, so
even better.
That would give him an extra day. So we'll see if he's back or not. But either way, it's we'll be back to review week 14 and see who's in, who's out, and review the playoff games and see who's playing who in the first round. And we're getting 3 weeks to go, Johnny. That's we're going to be right on Christmas time. We're going to be finishing up. So yes, here we go again.
We'll try and get on a Thursday night before the games start.
Yes,
for this one. So
absolutely.
That'll be good. Cool.
Yes, we'll go on before the games start next week for sure. Thursday night.
Yes, maybe for both. We'll see how I feel. Anyway, that's us done for the week, and good luck, everybody, apart from Levy and a prayer.
I'll say good luck to Sean and everyone. I'll say very much good luck to Doug this week, because
Doug too. Yes.
I'll say very much good luck to Doug this week. I hope he does get the win, because that squad of Grotes is very dangerous. So if there was ever a way to knock that out, I would appreciate it. You
might hear the cries from your house though.
Well, that's no. I'm counting on it, Johnny.
Sorry, Grote. But yeah, so good luck, everybody, and especially Doug. But makes a change from especially Doug not being lucky. So yeah.
Exactly. See you next week.
We'll see you on Thursday. Right, quick turnaround.